Hi, you're very welcome to this. This is the final Excel Snacks of 2025, what I like to call 30 minutes of Excel goodness. And today I'm going to be talking about lesser known charts, which there's one part of me that wants to do my little David Attenborough impression, but I am not going to be doing that to anybody, I can assure you. So let me just start the presentation here. All the files, etc., will all be sent out to you afterwards as well. Okay, so just okay, there we go. Yeah, my Zoom was doing strange things yesterday. It wasn't showing up. So just so you know, the second device is just me logged in as a participant. Okay. So today's session, 30-minute session, is just about lesser known charts, I suppose. And I've kind of picked, I mean, I could have picked a lot of them, but I picked ones that in my experience people often are not aware of. So we're going to look at the spark lines. I also call them baby charts. We're going to look at scatter charts, a little bit on funnel charts. Um, Funnel charts are kind of like sort of Excel had a big thing of kind of like bringing out newer charts. So funnel charts is one of those. And also, I thought it'd be interesting to use pivot data as a tree map, which is also one of the newest ones, newer ones as well. Okay. Just in terms of the housekeeping, normally we try and get the file and the link to the recording sent out within 4 to 5 working days. That's probably a bit on the pessimistic side because it's quite likely that Zeta might send them out this afternoon. Otherwise, it might be next Monday. But certainly, if you haven't received them by next Wednesday, email either Zeta or I, and we would definitely get them to you as well. There's also a page there, my Excel snacks page, where I have already have a number of Excel snacks scheduled in for 2026. Okay. All right. So as always, my format will be telling you a little bit about the different charts and then just giving you a demo. But before that, for those of you who don't know me, I think most of you here know me, but if in case you're on the recording and you don't know anything about me, I'm also known as the Excel lady. That's the name other people gave me, not the name I picked myself. Right. I do remember going for a COVID vaccination and somebody who was vaccinating me said, you're the Excel lady. Okay, so I said, fair enough. And I live in the west of Ireland, where today it is both sunny and stormy, which is quite typical for the west of Ireland. I have a website called theexcellady.com, and I'm a freelance Power BI and Excel trainer. This is what I do, okay, since the mid 90s. Some of you probably don't remember the mid 90s, but I do. Written books on Excel, your Excel survival kit. And don't forget, it's coming up to Christmas. If you have any children in your house, they would all love a book on Excel. Okay. And this one is actually come out in color, completely in color, to celebrate Excel being 40 years old. Okay. Now, the chances are some of you here, will know that Excel is 40 years old and had it marked in the calendar, but if you're on the recording, the chances are no, you won't be. Okay. Also, my two latest books called Hate Excel, Learn to Love the Software That Can Transform Your Confidence and Career, and the accompanying workbook. And they're both Amazon bestsellers. They're kind of like they're falling down the charts at this point, which is fine. But when they came out, they did quite well. Also have several books of Book Boon. That is changing next year. I'm kind of, to some degree, taking back those books, and I'm probably going to put them under the Hate Excel series, one of my 2026 plans. And I love movies, and I love puns, and I love crime fiction. As I like to say, relax with serial killer. Okay. And the one I'm watching at the moment is the one with Claire Danes. Nobody does a quivering lip like Claire Danes. I have to say, fair play to her. And a guy called Matthew Rhys, who looks as if he's on like facelift number 4 in this particular thing. It's quite good. And married long time. We have one son, and he's a software engineer. And yes, you can blame his mother for that. If you're not already connected with me on LinkedIn, please do so. You'll find me under the Excel lady or under my name. All right. So let's talk a little bit about these charts. Okay. I want to talk first of all about the spark lines. I call them baby charts, and you'll see why in a couple of minutes. And they're really handy. They're mini charts you can use to show trends, and you usually put them in the cell beside the data. Okay. I'm also going to look at scatter charts. These are similar to line charts, they're kind of related to them, but they're often used to show relationships between two sets of numbers. But one of its big things is that if you're doing them, both of the data sets you're mapping have to be numerical. Otherwise, you get weird messages from Excel. Funnel charts are one of the newer charts in Excel, and that's good for showing like stages in a process. Okay, so if you kind of want to go, for example, if you're tracking a sales thing, let's say from clicks to customers, a funnel chart would be a good one to show that. And the other one that I'm looking at is, and I thought this would be interesting to do, a tree map kind of gives you sort of a hierarchical view of your data. But I thought it'd be interesting to do it with a pivot table to do that little kind of twist on it. All right. Okay. So let's have a look at the file I have prepared here. All right, lovely. Good stuff. Great stuff. It's great to see people from all over the place here, isn't it? I love that. All right. Okay, so this is the file here. Just say mine to you as well, that down here at the bottom, okay, my contact details are there, but I've also put in a resource sheet there that gives you more tutorials about these different topics. So let's say I'm going to do the spark lines here, okay? So I'm just going to click where I want the answer to go, and then I just come up here to my insert, and then I come over here to spark lines, which are up here. And I might just choose the line one, and it says data range, and this is the one. I'm going to highlight this data range, and then I click OK, and then I'm just going to copy it down. So see there, it shows the trends of the data within each row. You also get this new ribbon up here as well. Right? And you can amend them, let's say, if I want to show the high point, or the first point, or the low point over here, and if I want to change the color as well. If I want to change it, I just come over here to column. So for example, I could just change this to a column over here if I wanted to. That's quite good. Or that's probably not so much a win-loss. I don't think it shows very well, but a line thing shows it quite well. And then if you want to just change the spark line color up here, I might just choose like a nice bright orange. Okay. You can do that one if you need to. Okay. If you want to delete them then, let's say you want to delete them, just be aware that if you just press the delete key, that doesn't work, okay? As I discovered. What you need to do then is basically, if you come down here to this one, spark lines, and let's say I would just go clear spark lines, clear selected spark lines. But those ones are great, as a baby chart, if you just want to show trends, they're really, really helpful. And obviously, let me just undo that for a second, just so you can see. Obviously, if the data changes, so for example, if I change this, let's say to 36,000, you see then the spark line changes accordingly to move with it. Okay. Now, if you have any questions or comments, just feel free to pop them in the chat as we go along. And, I'll be keeping an eye on the chat, doing the thing none of us are supposed to do, which is the multitasking. I then had a look at the scatter charts, okay? And for this one, I just picked data about GDP per capita, life expectancy at birth. So I began here, I highlighted these numbers, two sets of numbers, and then I went up here to insert. And then I just come over here to my, I can never remember where it is now, but I'll find a second. There we go, should see it. See there, I can add a scatter chart if I want to. So I'm just going to pick maybe this first one here. Okay. Now, what I can do as well, all right, is like I'm looking at the data here, but if I want to kind of, for example, add the country names onto those data points, and again, just the instructions are given up here as well. And let me just scroll this up a little bit. Okay. So if I come over here to this one, and I come down here, let's say to data labels, and I'm just going to go to more options. And there's a handy feature here called values from cells. Okay, so I'm going to go to value from cells, take that one. So select data label range, which is down here. And then I'm just going to select the country names here because I think it's obviously more informative by the country names. Now I don't want the value on it. So I'm just going to come over here to this one and just remove the Y value. Right. And then you see there I have the countries on it. Now the little thing you can do here, if I click here on life expectancy at birth, if I want to make this kind of chart title dynamic, and let me just come up here now to my equals. You have to click on the chart title, go up to equals, and then click on this one and press enter. That allows you to make it dynamic. So it'll be linked to it. So I could say top 10 countries, I could choose, versus life expectancy. Right. Now, one of the more annoying things I kind of found when I was doing this was in the newer charts, you don't have that facility. All right. I remember I've asked somebody about this because I kind of find it things a bit annoying. First world problems, I know. And if I want to then maybe change the axis down here, let's say I don't want it to go up to 160,000, I just go format axis and maybe make the maximum, let's say maybe to 135 here. It just means sometimes you can get a different picture of the data depending on how you format your axis as well. Okay, so that's just the scatter chart. And I might just anything else on it? No, it's fine. All right. Now, lovely people, any questions on that so far? That's so good. All right. Okay, now I'm going to come down here to this one, the funnel charts. Right. Now, this is dummy data. Okay, this is kind of data I would have asked maybe something like ChatGPT to generate or Copilot. So up here, I have a list of my audience. I have my prospects. I have the leads, hot leads, proposal sent, and customers. So I think a great way to represent this visually is if I highlight the data here and then come up here to insert. And then I'm just going to come over here then to, let's say, to I'll pick every damn one now, except there we go, find the funnel. Okay. And there's my funnel. Now I just want to see if I'm going to click on the chart title here and I just come up here to equals. It doesn't, or not to equals, it doesn't let me amend that in the formula bar. So with the newer charts, I've noticed that with a lot of them that you can't actually change it, which is kind of a bit, bit frustrating because dynamic chart titles are nice. Okay. Now, what you could do, and I saw this trick recommended by Anne Emery, who's some great stuff on data visualizations, is what you could do as an alternative is maybe come up here to insert. Now, she recommends click on this one first, insert, and then text box. And let's say I might just put a text box down here. And I'll just see if it'll let me equals sales funnel. It let me do it that way. And will it stick with it? I want to move this now. Yeah, you see, I know I've done this at different times. And when I've done it at different times, sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. So let me click the chart again. Hold down my shift key, click this one, because I want to kind of have them grouped together. Lets me group, which of course it won't. All right, there we go. I'm going to go to shape format. I'm going to see if it lets it, and let me see if I can group it. Yep, just not playing ball today. Let me try it again now. No. Yeah, I find this, I have to say, I find this, now whether that's a problem in chair or a problem in computer, I'm not sure. But I've tried this in a number of different ways. And like sometimes it works spot on, and sometimes it doesn't. Once I've got the funnel done, I can come over here then to this one and I can amend my data labels if I want to. See more data label options. I want to add a series name. Might want to add a category name, might want to add a category name or value. I'm just going to leave the value on it. I think it's clear enough. And then I have my little paintbrush, and then I can change the color of it here if I want to, or if I want to change the style of it. So I have a lot of style options there as well. I might just make that a little bit bold. There we go. Right. So that just allows you, I think this gives a very good visual representation of, where you have that kind of funnel effect, whatever that might be on it. Okay, now let me just look here, this one here on the pivot data. All right. So this is kind of data on transactions, data on train trips, various ones. I've got a pivot table done here. I've added a slicer up here to this one. And then I'm going to come down here to pivot for tree map. So let me come down to this one. Okay. So I've got my data put in here. This is linked to this one. I've linked this to, let me just delete it out again so you can see it. So I just come up to this one, just go equals, and pivot data, click here, and just drag it across and down. And I don't have any grand totals on it because I don't need those. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to sort my data, because generally tree maps work better when you kind of have your data sorted. So I'm going to come up here to data, sort. I'm going to sort first by ticket type, A to Z. I'm going to add a level. I'm going to sort by advance, A to Z again. And I might just see then if I do any time, smallest, largest, and then click OK. Once I've got it done, the other thing then I've done here as well is I've set up a slicer, but I've also put in the filter in my pivot data up here. Okay, so I've added this to my slicer. Let me just see now, can we get so you can see it, P list. So if you look over here, I've also added the payment method, which is also in the slicer, it's up here on this one, and then in the tree map, I've just put it in here as well. And you'll see in a minute why I've done that. Once I've highlighted this, Control Shift and H, select it, insert, and then I'm just going to go to my tree map up here. There we go. Got a nice little tree map there. And I'm going to, let's say, remove the legend. I'll leave the legend on it actually. And if I come up here then, let's say to my payment method up here, there, you'll see the data changing in the background. And I'm going to, let's say, do this one. I'm going to create a little dynamic title up here. And again, I don't think this allows me to this one. So I'll just go equals this. And then I'm just going to go ampersand. And this. Now, when I click on the chart title here, again, when I click try to go up to the equals, it doesn't let me. So what I probably have to do then is just remove the chart title. And I might just remove the legend as well. And I might just kind of go to insert and then the text box. Or I might just put the text box up here near the top of it. Just go equals. Yeah, broke thing there. I should have done that in the formula bar. Equals here. And just expand that as well. Then if I come up here then to this one, as I change each of these, you see it makes my chart title dynamic as well. And what I might do then is I might just come over to this one, click on the chart again. And I might just add in the numbers as well, data label. Yeah, might just have the value in as well to this one. All right, lovely stuff. Okay, and then I'll just clear the filter up here as well. Right. Okay, so lovely people, that's a summary of the 4 charts I kind of wanted to cover. Anybody got any questions or comments? Or suggestions? Always welcome to suggestions. Okay, seeing the comments here. Lovely. Yeah, you can try. Let me just see now. Just okay, a slicer. Okay, so this is what a slicer is. Okay, Grant, just answer your question about the slicer. If I come back here to pivot data, okay, um, that's a slicer up here. See on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm just going to delete that for a second so you can see. So if I want to add another slicer, if I click here and let's say I'm going to go to pivot table analyze, see there it says insert slicer. Okay. So then if I want to see, if I want to be able to analyze the data, for example, by let's say arrival destination, click on this. So you see there, I can then just kind of click on each of these and it breaks
Yeah.
down that data like so. That's what it does. That's what
Okay.
your slicer is. All right.
Okay.
Had,
Thank you.
had you come across that before, had you?
No, never seen that. No, it's
Yeah.
really interesting. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, it's very clever, isn't it? Yeah, it's very
Very,
good.
very clever. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one then you could use there's a thing right beside it called insert timeline. So for example, if it'll look at your dates there, see there, data journey. So what I could do is I could actually kind of use the timeline there. See then that one. If I want to kind of see specific, like, let's say January, see there, if I just want to see January, February, March, and that data. Okay. So then you can kind of slice and dice your
Yeah.
data quite a bit with that one, with the timeline as well. I'll just clear that one. It's lovely. And I'm just going to check here now the other question. Resize the chart. Yeah. There you go. Irish people are discovering each other all over the world as we speak. Yes.
Well, there
Can
aren't
you,
very many Granians around.
okay. Oh, yes. There's a Grania connection straight away. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Okay. Yeah. What I'd probably do is maybe I'd probably give it a bit of space, maybe with the chart title, put the chart title on, and then put it up maybe near the chart title, overwriting the chart title like so. Okay. But I have found, I mean, I know I find this quite hit and miss. Like I've done this and I get it to group and it works sometimes, works about half the time. But of course, the day you don't want it to work is the day you want it to work is the day it won't. And then I would probably overwrite the chart like that. Okay, but I think let me just move this up a bit. I think like Anne Emery the suggestion was click on the chart first. And then let's say I can then insert my text box, which I did. And for some reason that didn't work for me. And I might just do the shift, click the two of them. And then I'll see if it let me group it. And let's see now if it lets me group it there as well. No, yeah. So I find that kind of, like I said, I've done this before, but half the time it works and about the other half it doesn't. But just it's a way to kind of make your title dynamic if you need to. All right. Okay, just that's a little thing there on that tree map as well. Okay, lovely people. Any other questions? Let me just see now. Stop the share for a second. Have we got any other ones? Yeah, there you go. You have cousins in Malahide as well.
yeah, I know, small
Yeah,
world.
yeah. Yeah, I ended up having a conversation with a woman in a university in Northern England, and it turns out that her parents came from the same part of the world as me, and they're actually in the same. We actually have a family connection, which is kind of like bizarre, to say the least. Okay, lovely people. Any quick questions or comments before we wrap it up? A few minutes early. But I'm sure
That's
And
you will.
great.
Grania Duggan,
Yeah,
um, back to the resizing the
yeah,
charts.
yeah.
Is that because funnel chart is one of those ones that behaves strangely compared to the standard like
I
line
think it
charts and
is.
that?
Yeah, I think it is. Like I kind of I've noticed that when I do the chart title, I try to make it dynamic with the other ones. You know, all the standard charts, like the line chart, bar chart, column chart, that all works fine. Like when I do it with a scatter chart, you saw that worked fine. But the newer charts, it just doesn't seem to, and I don't know what that is really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I almost always get rid of the chart title and use a text box in my
Right.
charts.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
because I have more control over sizing. Because the chart title, it decides how big it is.
It does. Yeah. It
Yeah,
does. That's
and
true.
where with a chart, with a text box, I can decide how big it is. So
Yeah.
I like that. But in those ones, you can grab the actual plot area and resize it, but it doesn't look like that
It
plot
doesn't
area
look. Yeah.
is an option.
Let me just see if I can. No, I've been kind of messing with it here, and it's actually, like I said, it's quite fiddly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm even kind of messing with here, quite fiddly. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Anne Emery has any kind of suggestions around that. I must just ask her. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had success with the text boxes in
Brilliant.
charts, locking them, but they have been the older charts because I don't really use funnel charts very much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see that they behave differently.
It is. Yeah, possibly because they didn't put as much, effort into it as they did in the
That's
other
too
ones
bad.
as well. Yeah.
Because that being able to lock the text boxes, it's vital. Like you say, move the thing around in it.
Yeah, yeah, and I've kind of done this, and I found that it works. Even though I know Anne kind of said, click on the chart, then click on the text box, and they should group. I found that it doesn't quite often it doesn't, and even when I do the grouping thing, it doesn't either. But like I said, that's something I probably just need to. There's probably a specific knack that I haven't quite got yet. Right. Okay.
Well, yeah, and it could, like you say, it could easily be the new functionality in the newer charts is just not
Just not there yet. It's not there
No,
yet.
no. But I wouldn't have thought funnel was all that new. It's
It was
not
one
like
of the
a-
newer ones, though. Yeah, it is one of the newer
Yeah.
ones, actually. Yeah, it is. They used to do it. I don't know how they used to do it before that, but it is one of the newer ones. Yeah.
Yeah, newer, but I mean, it's not like their last 6 months. They've been around a while.
No. That's not that new. No.
No. So you think they'd have ironed out the stuff
Yeah,
by
they're probably
now?
waiting for enough people to complain about it. That's probably it.
True.
Yeah.
Get Bill Jellin on there.
Yeah, I will. Okay. All right, lovely people. Any other questions or comments before I wrap it up?
Just one last thing, Anne.
Shout, Lorna, yeah.
Is Anne Emery, is that ANNE?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, here she is. Yeah.
EMERY.
Yeah, Anne
All
K.
right.
Emery.
Okay.
Right. What I'll do is that I'll put a link to her in the file, in the event resources, in resource sheet, Lorna. So you can then see,
Thank you.
there's a link to that one. Yeah, no
Okay,
problem.
brilliant. Thanks so much,
All
Anne.
right, no problem.
Thanks, Anne. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, mind yourselves.
You too.
Take care.
All right, take
Bye.
care. Bye. Bye.